Which football, soccer players have COVID-19? With U.S. and worldwide cases still rising exponentially, COVID-19 has claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands and effectively stopped the world from revolving with delays and cancellations across the entertainment and sports industries. With over 24.5 million cases of the virus worldwide, even the strongest athletes have fallen ill from this dreaded disease. In our video today, we find out which football, soccer players have COVID-19. Welcome to Trending's Finest, where we give you the hottest updates on the world's most viral news, videos, and stories in the most exciting format. Click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to not miss a single beat of the world's pulse. As the virus continues to spread at an alarming rate, even the arguably most important event of 2020, the Tokyo Olympic Games, was postponed to protect the health and safety of our elite athletes. Unfortunately, this measure wasn't enough. Here are the football players that have COVID-19, including some of our most favorite players in the history of the sport. Stay tuned. Sir Kenny Dalglish. In April, Liverpool legend Sir Kenny Dalglish was confirmed as having the virus when in the hospital for a gallstone operation. While he was a confirmed case, he did not suffer any symptoms. Dalglish won 8 league titles and 3 European Cups across spells as a player and manager for Liverpool, while also guiding Blackburn Rovers to the Premier title in 1995. Premier League. Mikel Arteta. In mid-March, just minutes after the Premier League announced that games would go ahead as planned, Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta was confirmed to have contracted the virus. The 37-year-old club manager and former player was the first in England's Football Premier League to test positive for coronavirus. As a result, the entire Gunners squad was quarantined and their game against Brighton was postponed. According to an official club statement, the team's training center has since been closed and Arteta is self-isolating in line with public health guidelines. In a statement released by the club, Arteta expressed his disappointment with the news and excitement to get back to work as soon as allowed. Paolo and Daniel Maldini. Paolo Maldini, the technical director of Italian soccer club powerhouse AC Milan, and his son Daniel Maldini, a forward for AC Milan's youth team, both tested positive for coronavirus. Paolo and Daniel are both well and have already completed 2 weeks at home without contact with others, the club said in a statement. They will now remain in quarantine until clinically recovered as per the medical protocols outlined by the health authorities. Callum Hudson-Odoi. On the evening of March 12th, the Chelsea Football Club striker tested positive for coronavirus. The 19-year-old player went in for testing after coming down with a mild cold earlier in the week. A day after announcing his diagnosis, he tweeted to share that he has recovered from the virus and is isolating himself from the public. He hopes to be back on the pitch very soon. The Blues training ground was partially closed in response to the news, while those who had close contact with the player were told to self-isolate in line with the widely observed medical advice. Sean Raggett. Norwich City Football Club recently confirmed defender Sean Raggett, currently on loan at Sky Bet League One side Portsmouth, has tested positive for coronavirus. In line with the government guidance and after consultation between the club's respective medical departments, Raggett, along with 2 of his other Portsmouth teammates who've also tested positive, is now self-isolating. Raggett has spent the entirety of the 2019-2020 season on loan at Portsmouth. He's not believed to have come in contact with any Norwich City players or staff over the recent period. James Bolton. The Pompey defender James Bolton has revealed how he was thrown into the center of a medical storm after fearing he'd been reinfected with COVID-19. Bolton was one of 4 Blues players who tested positive back in March, as football was suspended and the pandemic gripped the globe. But after being given the all-clear, the 26-year-old then later tested positive once more as one of 2 unnamed players in June. With research at that time pointing towards it being impossible to be reinfected, it was a shocking result, especially since Pompey followed EFL and NHS guidelines. Bolton explained how he went through a nerve-wracking period of fear that he was going to be a lab rat before more tests later returned negative results. Thank God, because otherwise he would have bolted right out of there. Andy Cannon. The former Rockdale ace, Andy Cannon, is one of 3 players within the Blues squad that has the virus. A statement released by the club confirmed that Cannon, along with Sean Raggett and James Bolton, had been infected following tests carried on Pompey players and staff on Monday. The trio are self-isolating in accordance with government guidelines while the club awaits the results of further tests. Amidst the difficulty, Cannon fired off his own message of hope and optimism to loved ones and fans. He said he was trying to remain optimistic under the circumstances and encouraged everyone to look after themselves. Keep watching to find out those infected from Ligue 1, Bundesliga, Serie A, and La Liga, including one of the most tragic deaths of this pandemic and the world of football. Stay tuned. Ligue 1. Junior Sambia. One of the most frightening examples of the coronavirus taking hold of an individual happened to Montpellier's Junior Sambia, who was hospitalized and placed into a coma because of the symptoms. The 23-year-old suffered stomach pains and diarrhea before taking a turn for the worst with severe breathing difficulties. Thank goodness he was soon brought out of the coma and able to breathe on his own after a number of days. Hyun Jun-suk. South Korea international Hyun Jun-suk, who plays for League 2 side Troyes, tested positive after not feeling well for a few days. He was also the first known coronavirus case among South Korean football players. Later in the same month, he reported his progress toward full recovery from the infection. The 28-year-old also offered a public health message. To win this battle against the coronavirus, we have to stay at home and respect the government's leadership, he said. Take care of yourself and your family. See you soon. Bundesliga. Luca Killian. Paderborn defender Luca Killian was the first Bundesliga player to contract the disease. Killian recovered quite quickly, however, with Paderborn sporting director telling SZ he had 2 days of real trouble with fever and chills, but he's better now. Frankfurt, meanwhile, revealed on March 21st that a second player had tested positive for the virus, with an update released on Twitter. Serie A. Daniel Ragani. In Serie A, a number of players tested positive for COVID-19. The first confirmed case being Juventus defender Daniel Ragani. He tweeted to confirm the news and reassure everyone he was fine. He went on to say, "I urge everyone to respect the rules, because this virus makes no distinctions. Let's do it for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for those around us. Grazie." The Italy international was confirmed as a case following Juve's behind-closed-doors victory over Inter, prompting Nerazzurri to cancel all competitive activities. News of Ragani's diagnosis was a source of concern for some of his teammates, with Cristiano Ronaldo opting to remain at his home for a number of weeks in order to avoid contracting the virus. Blaise Matuidi. He became the second player from the Italian soccer team Juventus to test positive for coronavirus on March 17th, nearly a week after fellow Turin club member Daniel Ragani announced he contracted the virus. Matuidi, who won the World Cup with the French national team in 2018, has been in voluntary isolation since last week, according to an official Juventus statement. The France international, who received public support from Paul Pogba, issued an update a few days later saying, "I'm positive, I am strong, morale is good." Paulo Dybala. Rumors suggested that Paulo Dybala had contracted the virus, but the Argentine denied that this was the case, posting an update while in voluntary isolation. However, it was later confirmed that he and his girlfriend had tested positive. Manolo Gabbiadini and teammates. South of Turin in Genoa, Sampdoria striker Manolo Gabbiadini was the second player in Serie A to be confirmed as having contracted COVID-19. Sampdoria later confirmed that some of Gabbiadini's teammates, Gambia defender Omar Colley, Sweden midfielder Albin Ekdal, Norway playmaker Morten Thorsby, and former Italy under-21 forward Antonio La Gumina had also tested positive, as well as club doctor Amedeo Baldari. Fabio De Paoli. Sampdoria midfielder Fabio De Paoli has announced he's tested positive for the coronavirus, becoming the 10th Serie A player diagnosed and the 6th at Sampdoria. While Sampdoria said in a statement earlier Saturday that it would not announce any more updates about its players to avoid news leaks and useless alarmism, since all the lads are well. De Paoli revealed his positive test on social media. De Paoli writes in Italian on Instagram that he has unfortunately tested positive for COVID-19, but reassures everyone that he is okay, and that we can win against this invisible monster by adopting the correct measures and following medical advice. Bartosz Berezynski. A little later, Sampdoria defender Bartosz Berezynski also confirmed via his social media account that he has tested positive for COVID-19. In a similar statement to his teammates, he reminded everyone to be responsible and stay home when possible. Marco Sportiello. Atalanta confirmed that goalkeeper Marco Sportiello tested positive for COVID-19. Sportiello was the first player from Liga's squad to have contracted coronavirus, announcing that he had tested positive on March 20th, and 1 month after he still tested positive for COVID-19. In May, Atalanta finally announced his recovery and reassured everyone that Sportiello will carry out all the checks and can subsequently resume individual physical activity. La Liga. Ezekiel Gray. Valencia defender Ezekiel Gray was the first La Liga player to be confirmed as COVID-19 positive, with the club revealing that 5 cases had been identified among first-team staff and players, including former Manchester City defender Eloquim Mangala. All of these persons are now at home in good health and obeying self-isolation measures, a statement from Valencia said at the time. 4 further cases of COVID-19 within the Valencia squad were confirmed on Monday, March 16th, though the affected individuals remained unnamed. Lorenzo Sanz. On March 21st, tragedy struck when former Real president Lorenzo Sanz died after contracting the virus. Spanish giants Real Madrid were placed on lockdown after a Blancos basketball player was diagnosed with the virus. The capital club's football and basketball teams share facilities, prompting both outfits to quarantine their players and staff. The news led to the postponement of Real's Champions League clash with Manchester City, and no doubt contributed to La Liga's decision to suspend the football for 2 match days. Madrid's Clásico rivals Barcelona have suspended all activity, training, and so on, and told their staff to stay at home. The virus has speedily worked its way through society, and as you saw in our video, some of our favorite footballers have been among those who've tested positive. Leagues and competitions everywhere have been forced to postpone games, while Euro 2020 has now become Euro 2021 as European governments battle to slow the spread. Aside from Euro 2021, what other events are you looking forward to in the coming year? Tell us in the comments down below so we can all look forward together. It's not just our favorite football players who are testing positive with COVID-19. Find out the biggest names across theater, TV, and the big screen who've been afflicted with the dreaded disease in our other video, Actors with COVID-19, including recoveries and deaths. Thank you for watching. This is Trending's Finest, always the trendiest, always the finest.